Chaos in the House. Parliament descends into disorder as
the campaign.
Tense calm, Bull Bay residents in fear as killings escalate in the area.
Speed it up. Prime Minister Andrew Holness promises improvements to ease business processes.
Crackdown. Police call for tougher penalties for motorists using heavy tints.
And in business news, spare us please. Jamaica to lobby the US to ensure sanctions on UC Rosal have minimal impact on Windalco.
There's also sports commentary and weather in the primetime package. But before the break, the feedback question.
This evening we're asking, what do you think should be done to reduce bureaucracy in the public sector?
Share comments online, facebook.com/television Jamaica and tweet at Television Jam.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to folks on OneSpotMedia.com.
Parliament descended into chaos this afternoon following questions raised by West Portland MP Daryl Vaz.
Mr. Vaz questioned whether opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, is conflicted in his stance on the issues surrounding the Correctional Hospital since he works at Hospital in Jamaica, which is close to the government facility.
TVJ's Andrea Chisholm was in the House of Representatives and joins us live. Andrea?
Thank you very much, Archie and Doreen. Well, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton today gave a statement to Parliament on the issues surrounding Cornwall Regional Hospital. After much back and forth between him and the opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and you'll get those details later, Member of Parliament for West Portland, Daryl Vaz, had a question.
May the Honourable Minister indicate whether he can confirm if the member for St. Ann Northwest, who is the current opposition spokesperson on health, has a contract as a doctor with a private hospital in the parish of St. James, where I don't finish it. No, the question don't finish. The question don't finish. Where the Cornwall Regional Hospital is located, and as such may be conflicted by his strident calls for the closure or downsizing of the Cornwall Regional Hospital. And a point of order. Rubbish, and shut your mouth, my God.
Oh, that brouhaha brought House Speaker Pernell Charles to his feet and led to a 20-minute adjournment for persons to calm down and to bring some order to the sitting of the House of Representatives. Now, when the House resumed, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips said the allegations against the opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, were unfounded, adding that the issues at Cornwall Regional existed long before Dr. Campbell was appointed Health Shadow Minister.
It is unkind, it is unfair, it is untrue, and it is an absolute abuse of the privileges of the Parliament.
After Dr. Phillips's remarks, Dr. Campbell insisted on mounting staunch defense to the allegations made by Mr. Vaz. However, he was interrupted. All right, and on that occasion, as I said earlier, Dr. Campbell was interrupted by Mr. Vaz, who was essentially saying that he should have declared that he worked at Hospital in Jamaica. And Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton did say in his remarks that X-ray services for Cornwall Regional were outsourced to the Montego Bay Hospital and Hospital in Jamaica. And let's listen to what Dr. Dayton Campbell had to say about that matter.
I am not a radiologist, nor did I initiate any contact with the ministry about providing radiologic services.
So what?
Second point, Mr. Speaker. Second point.
Mr. Campbell,
when you
just
work
deal with
in
it,
a
man,
hospital,
please.
Mr. Speaker, just a second.
Deal
Just
with the
allow me.
allegation and just close this
No,
matter.
I'm finishing.
Answer the allegation.
Mr. Speaker, just allow me, please. When you work in a hospital, you are paid per hour, not per patient. If you are at the hospital for 24 hours and there is no patient there, you are paid at a set rate. It is an asinine and an illiterate person that would come up with that suggestion. The next point, Mr. Speaker, the final point. The Nurses Association, the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association have threatened to sue the government, not because of where I work. They are threatening to sue because their members were exposed to allergens, toxins, and carcinogens without their knowledge.
Now, that issue aside, as we mentioned earlier, the Health Minister gave a statement to Parliament before the House of Representatives, before it descended into chaos. And we're going to hear our reporter, Vashon Brown, with the details of that.
The back and forth between Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and his opposition counterpart Dr. Dayton Campbell continued in Parliament on Tuesday. Dr. Tufton still insisting that the evacuation of the main building of the Cornwall Regional Hospital could not have been done a year ago when it was recommended by the Chief Medical Officer and other technocrats.
The then Chief Medical Officer, who has the authority, not me as Minister, he has the authority to issue a closure notice, did not issue a closure notice. He made a recommendation which was the subject of a meeting, after which he clearly stated that a closure notice would not be issued. And I think that is very important for the records, Mr. Speaker, for fear that some think that we overruled the Chief Medical Officer. We can't do that. It's not allowed in law.
The Health Minister says people would have died if services at Cornwall Regional were relocated at the time the recommendation was made. Dr. Tufton also maintains that it would take time to put alternative arrangements in place, but Dr. Dayton Campbell isn't buying that argument.
Don't you find it a little bit odd that Dr. Tufton, who is not medically trained, would have been the only one who thought about the alternative arrangement that would have to be put in place, and those who are technically trained in the ministry would not have made suggestion? That didn't cross your mind to say that would be odd. It is because it is not true. They made the very suggestions which were acted on 1 year later.
Dr. Tufton also notes that in 2017, the Cornwall Regional Hospital conducted over 2,000 surgeries. More than half of those surgeries were emergency cases. So he says 4 lives were saved each day.
There is no operating theatre that has been built in St. James. Therefore, if persons would have died then, they would die now. It is simply not true, and it is appealing to emotions, but it's not true. The emergency surgeries that are done in St. James now are done at Barnet Clinic, which is a private facility, and Montego Bay Hospital, which is also a private facility. So if you could have contracted them now to do so, you could have contracted them a year ago.
Another very unfortunate and deceptive act on the part of the member is to suggest that there was no operating theatre in the main building during the period that I referred to during the last year. The operating theatre on the 5th floor acted as an emergency operating room up until July of 2017. For the member to suggest that it was relocated, again is downright deceptive, if not based on ignorance.
Vash, TVJ News.
In other news, the Gleaner newspaper is reporting that court action has been taken against the Heart Foundation of Jamaica that information published on the foundation's Instagram page was defamatory. The court documents state that the Instagram post makes an inaccurate claim about the volume of sugar in each bottle of cran water, then asks, "Are you drinking yourself sick? Drink water instead." Wisinko argues that because the aim of the campaign is to get members of the public to consume less sugar-sweetened beverages, the information is defamatory because it suggests that drinking Wisinko's products, specifically cran water, will make them sick.
The family of 3-year-old Tisha Bennett, who died a month ago at Black River Hospital, says the preliminary results of an autopsy conducted yesterday revealed signs that she had pneumonia. The family of young Tisha is preparing for her funeral, but the baby's death remains fresh in their minds. TVJ's Anthony Lugg has been tracking that story and has this primetime news follow-up.
Grave digging and meal preparation in progress ahead of 3-year-old Taisha Bennett's funeral on Sunday. Taisha's bright young face grabbed the attention of the country when the story about her death was aired on March 21. The 3-year-old died in her mother's arms at the Black River Hospital after being taken there due to an irregular breathing problem. Since then, relatives have blamed the child's death on negligence. Last month, relatives told our news team they did not sign off for the autopsy to be done. But why?
Because those people don't want to take the blame that is their neglect.
We do not satisfy for how Taisha Bennett are dead. We don't satisfy. So we need to talk to a lawyer and get to private investigate the matters.
Fast forward some 3 weeks later, the family signed the document and the autopsy was done at the Mandeville Regional Hospital on Monday with a doctor observing on the family's behalf.
The doctor tells it's pneumonia killer and she loans fall with the pneumonia.
But here's what Senior Medical Officer at the Black River Hospital, Sheriff Imaru, said a day after the baby died.
Was seen was advised to continue the medications that the specialist has prescribed, and we added something more to the regime that had been prescribed previously. The following day now, the child returned with the mother with the complaints of the same ear ache, was actually triaged and was waiting to be seen, was triaged at 10 o'clock, 10:07, and at 12:15 was actually pronounced dead while waiting to be seen.
We contacted parish manager at the St. Elizabeth Health Department, Sean Brissett, for a comment, but he said he could not provide us with details on the findings. In the meantime, the relatives of little Taisha say they'll not stop until they get justice.
If they deal with the baby, take the baby from the mother and go to her, go to them and test him and see right now, say there is a breathing problem with her. The baby and just take the baby. Right, and just go deal with it, go give oxygen. Baby alive today.
You know, my daughter could have get it. So in my mind, I just start take it further around with her until I feel like I get justice to her.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
A top story this evening, chaos in the House. Parliament descends into disorder as Health Minister tackles questions about Cornwall Regional Hospital. And still ahead, speed it up. Prime Minister Andrew Holness promises improvements to ease business processes. And in business news, spare us please. Jamaica to lobby the US to ensure sanctions on UC Russell have minimal impact on Windalco. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Continuing the news, there's a tense calm in Bull Bay, St. Andrew, with residents cowering in fear as men with high-powered weapons continue to carry out rampant killings in the area. The killings reportedly started more than a year ago, and the residents feel not enough is being done to bring it to an end. TVJ's Kirk Wright reports.
It's midday on Tuesday, and the streets here in Teladan, Bull Bay, which is usually populated at this time, are empty these days, as killings in the area have driven fear into the people. Most people say they only venture out if it's necessary. We have been told the ongoing gang violence, which started 2 years ago, started after a gun was stolen. It's believed the killing of a man and the burning of his house in Taylorland 2 weeks ago are related to the missing gun. But before that, in December, gunmen pounced, then shot and killed a 9-year-old businessman Lenford Williams while he was closing his business place one evening. Statistics show 6 persons have been murdered in the Kingston Eastern Police Division since the start of the year. The latest killing is that of Owen Craig, otherwise called Riverside of Tambourine Tree. He was shot dead in his yard 2 Sundays ago.
When I look upon him, I feel like I want to faint. Because he was a tear up a dog. When car lick dog. And then a vehicle come run over him. I saw it steer.
We found Glenn Craig, Owen's father, in his yard sharpening his work tool. Mr. Craig says his son's killing is a major blow.
Right now, more time I'm there, I'm not there yet. I just step far out. You know? Sometimes I just step far. You see me there, so now? You see me start this thing, I have to go do some work on me and make a little fence and things. Sometimes I just get weak and get away. When it just come in on my thought, you know what I mean? Really? I just say, you're gone and you don't do nothing.
And I want to say to them, oh, God, mankind so desperately wicked to others. We are all human beings. God give life, not man. And this is what we are doing to our one another.
Taylorland and Tambourine Tree are only two of the troubled communities. Bobber Hill, Beach Road and Ball Ground in 11 miles are others. The areas are so tense, businesses close early in the evenings and residents stay inside. The police patrol, but with challenges such as bad roads and the hilly terrain which hoodlums use to their advantage. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The police are renewing the call for motorists who defy the road code to pay bigger fines and have points deducted from their licenses. TVJ's Kalisha Williams reports.
Defective vehicles, some heavily tinted, dozens of license plates removed. A police operation on the busy Eastwood Park thoroughfare in St. Andrew on Tuesday morning to crack down on motorists who continue to defy the law.
Coming here this morning, I was amazed to see that vehicles that we have removed tins from were still in breach.
In 2017, TVJ News likened that police initiative to what some Jamaicans would call a 9-day wonder. Again, that theory is being refuted.
It was a 9-day wonder. Right across the parishes, believe it or not, places like Hanover, at one stage we have a zero tolerance approach, whereby as far as tins are concerned.
However, head of the JCF Highway and Traffic Division, Superintendent Courtney Kubri, told us some motorists make it difficult for the police to do their jobs. It's why he believes those who refuse to be compliant should pay bigger fines and have more points deducted from their licenses.
When you remove tins from off motorcycles, it's a measly fine. I think the fine is about $2,500. There are no points attached. So you find person will still have their driver's license going about. So I only hope that the new road traffic legislation will address this.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is again lamenting the length of time it takes to do business in some sectors. Speaking at the groundbreaking for new low-income housing development in St. Andrew, Mr. Holness noted that bureaucracy remains a major challenge, one which he says his government is committed to fixing. More in this report.
It's a development which had been on the cards for some time. The Foreshore Estate is a gated community located near Marcus Garvey Drive in southwest St. Andrew. When Prime Minister Andrew Holness thought he could intervene,
I started with maybe a little bit of naivety by saying to William and his team that we're going to get this done right away. It's a good project, let's get it done right away. But then it met upon all kinds of bureaucratic hurdles that sometimes it would seem as if that the Prime Minister is not the strongest person to remove them.
Mr. Holness stressed that this type of bureaucracy is a hindrance to growth. He, however, acknowledged the need for rules to ensure integrity, transparency and fairness.
If we are going to have projects like these, they can only come through a partnership. And that partnership has to be that people who have money to invest, like William and Edeli, can say that there is a benefit in investing in Jamaica, because that benefit is that I get things done quickly in Jamaica than I will get it done anywhere else. But if people who have money to invest feel that there is no premium of speed of process in Jamaica, then they will go elsewhere.
Which is why the Prime Minister says he's committed to transforming the public sector. Part of the new mandate will be improving the ease of doing business.
Until our public service recognizes that they have to give a premium of speed of doing business so that investments can come here, so that the country can grow, so that we can get more taxes, so that we can pay them better, then we will be constantly stuck in a cycle where we are trying to argue over how much to pay and how much what sector should get with a pie that is not growing.
Janella Precious, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says the Foreshore Estate housing project is part of a wider development plan for Marcus Garvey Drive.
This entire area of the Marcus Garvey Drive corridor is slated for significant development, and it has started. The dream of developing a logistics park, a logistics hub, that dream has begun. We are seeing the first signs of it with major investments along the corridor. There will be also significant infrastructure improvement just a few miles from here, about 2 miles from here, where we'll be once and for all solving the traffic issues at the intersection of Marcus Garvey Drive, Spanish Town Road and Hagley Park Road.
A 17-year-old boy remains in custody after allegedly setting fire to his father's house on Tuesday morning. Brian Hilton says the fire was set sometime after 8 o'clock at the home he shares with his 10 and 13-year-old daughters in Chapelton, Clarendon. He says the fire was set after a dispute with his aged son. More than 50 students and members of staff at the Garvey Maceo High School in Clarendon were taken to hospital today to be treated for smoke inhalation caused by a bush fire near the school. Classes were suspended at 11 o'clock as the entire school was affected by the smoke. TVJ News spoke with a parent of one of the students taken to hospital. She said she received a call from a teacher at Garvey Maceo informing her of the incident.
I didn't ask what happened because as my church sister called before and said it was a fire. So I feel more than less that maybe she inhaled smoke or something. So I start getting my clothes on and I called my sister and asked her to drop me, and she said she's coming. And when I reach on the road again, I'm coming from New Boynes.
And time now for responses from our friends on Facebook and Twitter, and Archie is at the smartboard.
Thanks, Lorraine. Here's a question this evening asking, what do you think should be done to reduce bureaucracy in the public sector? Here's a first comment. Jamaica's bureaucracy has too much elements of corruption and extortion. To reduce it, you'll need divine intervention, says that person. Second comment, bureaucracy starts from within the government, extends to the public sector. Use the laws that are already on the books to hold public officials accountable. When last has a public official been prosecuted for corruption or for bureaucracy, says that person. Third comment, do away with one bag of paper and start using technology, says this person. Storing information on paper makes it difficult to find and share data with other departments. Fourth comment, Jamaica faces too much corruption, so before we start elsewhere, start at corruption. And our final comment for this segment, one word, prayer. Keep your comments coming on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/televisionjamaica, and your tweets to @televisionjam. News from overseas and business news after the break. Please stay tuned.